Just finished watching The Age of 17, and it was it was very different from what I expected, that's for sure. It's a 2017 film. It's comedy drama directed and written by Kelly Freeman Craig, and it stars Haley Seinfeld, Hayden, Woody Harrelson, and so on and so on. What did I think about it? Well, it's gonna be very raw. There's no cuts, there's no written script. I'm just gonna say what I think right away because I love to hear myself talk. So it's about a 17-year-old who is in school, I think, a junior, and she's kind of a loner, socially awkward, but she has a best friend, and it turns out her best friend is in a relationship with her brother, so that sets thing a different way. So that's how she becomes a bit more lonely, and she set out to discover herself for herself. And it's really a simple white girl problems film, but it turned out to be much more than that. So I like the story. It's enjoyable, it's funny, and it's very well paced. But at a point, I really thought to myself, okay, this is just a bit too weird. Like all of her problems revolves around her being selfish and like, oh, the world revolves around me, yay, I'm so sad, like typical Gen Z stuff. And I thought, I mean, that's gonna go that way because she is a very unlikable protagonist. So I thought uh, the director or the writer isn't gonna address that, but they do in the end, and I like that because that's how you like an unlikable protagonist. She learns from it, and it's good. It's good to see a character grow like that. And Haley Steinfeld does a so much better job than in most that I've seen her in. She is. I buy her as an awkward teenager. She is very passionate. She is quirky, and when there are emotional stakes, she delivers. I buy her as that character. And that guy who plays Arwen, sorry to mispronounce his name, is Hayden Suzuki or something. So he does a good job as well. He's really the typical nice guy, and you can't really much do about that. It's common in almost every films. So yeah, fuck that. But what I love is Woody Harrelson's character. There's always a teacher in a film like this coming of age story, that a teacher is a philosopher and a prophet for the students. There's one teacher like in The Perks of Being a Wallflower. There's Paul Rudd, who is like quoting very profound things, and it's gonna change the kid's life. Or in Detachment, or in Half Nelson and things like that. But in here, Woody Harrelson is just being a dick. And that's great because like that's more relatable and that's more funny. And yeah, like, but also there's a heart to it. It's not just about the jokes, but it's subtle. It's not in your face. Like, yeah, he's the moral wisdom guy. He shows it. He doesn't say it. Like that classic. Like they took that show don't tell too literally. They show it, but they don't say it. So that's good. Um, About the acting, well, Woody Harrelson is as always great. I mean, he can play anything really. So except Carnage in Venom, that was too much for me. The score is really nice, and the great thing about the score is its lack of score. I don't know if that makes sense, because like in some scenes that are really tense, there's a lack of score, and it really, unsettles you to your core. Like, okay, what's gonna happen? And there was a lot of time I cringed, and in a good way, you know, like yeah, like I cringed in a lot of scenes, and it was, I think, intentional, because it puts you in same kind of anxiety that the main character is having, so that's good. And the tone was overall good. As I said before, it's a very paced movie. There isn't any dull moment really, because there's often films like coming of age films, sometimes they do overestimate their overstate their welcome, so like this time I didn't think it had any chunky moments. All of it was necessary, and it played a part in it. Yeah, for sure. What is the best part of that movie? I think it's is message, for sure, because we have all seen this kind of films often. I mean, every year there's a coming of age film. I can compare this film to a recent film I saw by Bo Burnham, Eighth Grade. Yeah, that was kind of similar, but not in the same way. But you get the gist. But what this film does differently is just it states its problems, but it doesn't resolve it. Like, not everything is hunky dory in the end. It's not cookie cutter. The problems are still there, but the characters are more aware of the fact that it's gonna be okay. And I like that message, because in your teenage years, everything's always gonna be at a bad place. You can't change that. All you can do is accept and move on. And I think the age of 17 captured that message beautifully. I'm gonna give this film 4 out of 5.